Hello, everybody. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We've got an awesome deck for you today. We're really excited. I pulled an Infinity ticket with this, like, with absolute ease. I've kicked butt on ladder with it, and it's got a 75% win rate. We've also got many other things for you, including the beginning of our 15 season pass giveaway. We've got that Eeka deck is the one that's doing so well. We've also got a deck from Ava. Ava is one of the top 10 players in the game or so, and combats Sera Miracle. For those of you who didn't have Hitmonkey but want to play a Miracle deck, these should all work for you. Before we get started, though, please hit that sub button, please hit that like, please hit that comment. We're trying to get to 8K. It'd be a miracle if we can get there before New Year's, but let's see what we can do. We're at 7,400. So if you would hit that sub button and help us climb, we bring you at least 3 new decks every single weekday. Pro tips, deck guides, meta guides, bundle guides, everything you could possibly need to complete your Marvel Snap journey, we've got here for you. So please hit that sub button. Also, you need to, in order to be a part of our giveaway, we give away 15 season passes every single season. So you can enter that giveaway right here. We give away 5 on the YouTube, 5 more on Twitter. There will be a tweet in the description to this video that will have how to enter on Twitter. But for the 5 here, each video for the next 5 days, that would be the Wednesday video, the Thursday video, the Friday video, the Sunday, and the Monday video. Each comment on one of those videos counts as an entry. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment on a video, each video, from now until next Monday, and each one is an entry. Each video will have its own winner, and you can win 1 of 5 season passes completely free for you. Cool. The last 5 we give away will be a podcast specific one. We're going to announce that a bit later. We're recording Thursday, tomorrow, with Lambie, Peaceful Sea, and Savage Yeti, but our other regular co-host Roy is away for New Year's on vacation with his wife, so we are going to wait until he returns to announce that last 5, but make sure you check the Marvel Snap Zone YouTube for that. If you are interested in some more, we also are giving away at least 1 Patreon exclusive pass, and we will have more giveaways on the Patreon throughout the month. So make sure you check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/snapjudgments. We have 3 tiers that we're offering. The giveaways are part of the $10 tier. So $1 is just showing some love to us. $5 is early access to videos, as in as soon as they're done recording and I upload them, I post them on the Patreon. Content suggestions, we've already had 2 or 3 little polls for that. Complete post archive, which is coming soon. Podcast guest questions, which will be going up tomorrow for Lambie. So if there's something you want to know from Lambie, make sure you subscribe on the $5 tier. The Deck Doctor, which is if you have a deck you'd like me to take a look at, like me to give thoughts on, maybe you'd like to get featured on the channel, you can drop it there. And priority answers to questions. You can just leave questions there or DM them to me on Patreon, and they will become questions of the day. For the $10 tier, we've got an exclusive once monthly podcast. Roy and I are going to sit down and review every card that came out this year in Marvel Snap, every single one of them. We're going to do that hopefully this weekend. If not, we'll do it as soon as possible. We've also got exclusive content, both written and in video. We will have an exclusive monthly giveaway. We're giving away at least 1 season pass. I'm going to try and do 2 this month. Mailbag Q&As, end of the day daily video shoutouts. You can see those at the end of this video. Priority questions for podcast guests and all previous tiers. Cool. So if you're interested in the Patreon, please check it out. Hopefully you find the interest. It's for those of you who are like, why would I do that? Well, it's not that different from supporting a streamer with your sub. So if you're willing to do that, hopefully you're willing to check out the Patreon too. All right, we also maintain this giveaway sheet, which is every active giveaway in Marvel Snap. You can find the link to that in the description to this video every single day. Our friend Banshee helps us maintain that. Thank you so much for that, Banshee. Basically, it lets you, for complete free, find some really great content creators and win some free stuff in the process. All upside, again, linked in the description to this video. Today, we begin with question of the day, like we do always. Then we're going to look at Eeka's deck, and I managed to type Eeka's name wrong. There's 1 typo per video. Twitter.com/Eeka show, Eeka_show. You need to check Eeka out. Eeka has a stream, but they haven't streamed in 2 months. But Eeka's decks are absolutely like stellar. Eeka's quickly becoming a person that posts a deck, and I featured on the channel. This deck that we're going to cover today is one of my favorites in quite a while. 3, we're debuting a new feature. It's called We Vote Wednesday, Deck Vote Wednesday. I'm going to give you 4 cards. You comment which of the 4 cards you'd like to see a deck for. And in Friday's video, we'll cover one of those cards decks. Then we've got a deck from Avazord. Ava is one of the top players in the game, finishes top 10 in the Post Infinite ladder basically every season. We've got 2 pro tips for Conquest with Conquest Infinity open. Then we're going to look at a deck from our friend Combat. Hopefully, Combat's doing great today. Combat has a great Sera Miracle. I'll be honest, I like the Hitmonkey version from yesterday a little better, but this one has some definite better meta matchups and is really just a strong, powerful deck and no Hitmonkey. Then we'll end with shop and shoutouts. Questions of the day. Greenberg asks if running tech cards will be better than running some synergy pieces, and it depends. Right now, I think you need an answer for ongoing decks. I think as you're playing Marvel Snap, as you are building your decks, I think it's extraordinarily important right now that whatever you're doing, you built in some answers for ongoing pieces. The Tribunal Onslaught decks just go over the top of you too easily if you don't build those in. And if they're going to drop like 50 in each lane, then you need an answer. And Enchantress answers that just fine. Even if they run Cosmo, it's hard to get their combo off and play Cosmo. So Enchantress or Echo or just like a card like Goose is important to fit in right now. That's not always the case. Sometimes tech cards are better, sometimes they're worse. So fundamentally, what it amounts to for me is you look at your deck, and if you're struggling for like a 12th card, right? You say, okay, which card beats this? Am I going to lose to Blob Shenanigans? Then you can add Shadow King. Shadow King is really easy to fit anyway because he's a 2. There's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of ongoing lately, a lot of destroy lately, and that's wrecking me. Well, you can just add Cosmo if it's not going to mess you up too much. Same thing for ongoing, same thing for Shang for big things. Figure out what the 12th card in your deck is, the least important was, and if you keep losing to one matchup, see if there's a tech card that can help out. That tech card is probably better than your 12th card, but there's some decks where it's just not. Classic Discard or Classic, the current ongoing Tribunals are really good examples. They'll never fit a tech card, right? Like, it's not going to work in those decks. But outside of those types of decks, then it's really good to fit them. Great question, Greenberger. Brandon Day wants to know what I teach. So, I'm a high school English teacher. I teach AP and IB. AP is Advanced Placement. IB is International Baccalaureate. Language and literature, literature and composition. I focus on the language portion, which means we're looking at rhetoric fundamentally and critical thinking. I like to think I'm good at it. Some days I'm amazing, some days I'm mediocre. That's how teaching works. Anyone who tells you they kill it every day or terrible every day is probably a liar. I tend to have a good influence on my kids, so I'm fairly proud of the work I do, and I genuinely love it. Okay, if you'd like your questions read out in tomorrow's video, leave one in the comments. Cool, let's keep going. This is Eeka's Anature. I love this deck. I love this deck. I love this deck. Can I be somehow clearer that I love this deck? At first, I was like, I need to add Enchantress. I cannot lose to these ongoing decks. Well, it turns out that Echo in the middle, Mobius to screw up their Ravona and Zabuz, and Scarlet Witch to blow up their Limbos does an awfully good job of winning that matchup. They also really don't like getting Hood and Demons in their junk. Everything else here is really, really great synergy. You can beat Surfer decks. I beat a Surfer deck with this on my way to an Infinite Ticket by Black Bolting out their Surfer in a game where that could have won them, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to retreat. But they can't even play Sera because I've got Mobius, and they have to worry about my Mobius on turn 5. So I don't actually have to play Mobius. The threat of Mobius means they can't Sera, unless it's my best tempo play on 3. We've got, I got Nico for double Echo in the ongoing match. I doubled Ms. Marvel for multiple of those in a lane. There's an absolute ton of power to this deck. This is a pure gameplay deck. I'm in love. So I went 6 or 7 and 1. I'd have to double check on ladder. I actually did that with both the classic Loki and this week, where I just went on ladder and was like, oh, I'm just winning everything. So I was like, okay, let's take this to Conquest. I went straight from Proving Grounds through Gold with this with absolutely no trouble. I lost 4 cubes one game. Besides that, I don't think I lost more than 2. This is an absolutely great deck, and I strongly urge you to give it a try. All right, replacements. Echo and Nico. If I didn't have one, I'd have to run Enchantress, but I might just make Nico Enchantress right now. Turns out after more gameplay, I don't need to do that. But if you don't have Echo, please run Enchantress. So if you don't have them, Enchantress and Forge, and you can consider Celine for that Nico spot if you want to. You need Stature, which is series dropping soon. Ms. Marvel and Annie. Ms. Marvel remains the very best card in Marvel Snap. Mobius could be Cosmo or Zabu. It'll be worth. Mobius is really great in the meta right now. Sera is back. Zabu is all over the place. Ravone is all over the place. Just the general locations. You should, if you have Mobius, time to whip him back out of that binder and put him on the field. He's great. But Cosmo and Zabu are also fine here. In particular, adding Zabu gives you a way to take a leverage your his Marvel Sentry plays. Cool. And if you added Enchantress, then that's obviously much better too. All right. 21 and 7 from rank 250 to 150 post infinite for Eeka. That matches my experiences with this deck. So turn 1 Hood over Nico over Echo. I'd like to save Echo for later, although if I know they don't have Killmonger, i.e. Conquest, I'm perfectly happy to just slam Echo Center and say, let's do this. Turn 2 Jeff over Hood over Demon over Scarlet Witch over Nico over Echo. This is nice and simple, although I will throw an Echo down in like Onslaught Citadel or something like that early. But again, I'm trying to save where possible Echo for turn 3. So turn 3 is Mobius or Echo and something earlier. Turn 4 is Sentry and Ms. Marvel. Turn 5 is Black Bolt or Annihilus. And then turn 6 is Annihilus and Demon or Stature, or just go wide and play a bunch of stuff. A lot of times I'm just like, I've spent my last turn going 2 cards in the right location and what about Stature and Demon, and then just playing in a different location the Sentry. And that's a 22 power last turn, which is kind of a lot. I've just gone Shadow King and then played the 2 1-drops and called it a day. There's a lot of stuff like that you can do with this deck and be just fine. All right, quick variant talk. So whatever reason on Marvel Snap Zone, the Echo I have will not show up when I build a deck. I have the Peach Momoko Echo. It's beautiful. I love it. It should be in the deck. Besides that, we've got some decent variants. This isn't my favorite variant deck. I should have the Hit Black Bolt in here. We'll see at the end of the video. But I made this slideshow earlier before reset, and then I went and played it after reset. Oopsie. But we've got our 3 hips here. We've got Mobius, Ms. Marvel, Annihilus. We will have 4 in a few minutes. Black Bolt. Oh, sorry, Jeff. So we're at 4 already. Black Bolt will be 5 when that Stature finally shows up. One of the last 3 cards in the game I don't have a variant for is Stature. I will be perfectly happy and have 5 hips in this deck. So we're, 6 hips in this deck. We're getting there. We've got the merged Sentry. I decided to throw this Scarlet Witch in here. This is like a fairly heroic looking Scarlet Witch. I like it. The best Shadow King in the game. Like, look, Hood, Nico, and Shadow King we talk about every day. They're here. Next. All right. We vote Wednesday. So basically, in the comments, vote which of these cards you'd like a successful deck to see with later this week. I'm assuming that'll be Friday's video. Do you want to see a Quake, a Mr. Negative deck, a Punisher deck, or a Morph deck? Which of these would you like to see for We Vote Wednesday? You vote. I provide the deck and how to play it, a deck that you can succeed with any of these lesser seen or played cards. Cool. There's obviously going to be 3 losers if there's 1 winner, so I'll post those other decks over on the Patreon for the like $5 tier or something. All good? This is Ava's move. Ava's amazing. This is a really, really smart move deck. I'm going to say this. This was built before Enchantress was a necessity. This deck needs Enchantress right now. Like if you don't want to fit Enchantress, so the easy thing to do is just pull out Shang and put it in Enchantress. You'll be fine. Shang is not totally needed. Shadow King tends, like the big thing right now is Blob, and Shadow King does that job. So having Enchantress gives you an answer to the other big thing right now, which is the Hell Enjoyer deck, which we covered last like Thursday. This is our classic move deck. Lambie posted his Conquest stats. I've actually literally got them open in another tab right now. Lambie posted his untapped stats, not just Conquest, Ladder and Conquest. And he's got like 3 really successful decks right now. One is Loki. We've talked about that. We literally did a Meta Monday on it a couple days ago. Another deck that he's had a lot of success with is Thanos, and I think we talked about his Thanos list on Sunday. He threw Leech in it if you care. And the third list is the classic Silky Smooth. Well, this is a better version of Silky Smooth because Abe is really, really smart sometimes. Basically, Silky Smooth puts a lot of power all over the board. It makes a really big Craven using Silk, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, stuff like that. Well, let's add Blob as a closer, right? Like, this deck literally is that. It just says Blob can close out the game. Enchantress over Shang-Chi would be really necessary. Everything else is fairly self-explanatory, except the Man Thing. The Man Thing is ridiculously unneeded for this deck. I don't remember writing this. I did write this up. So cool. Man Thing is ridiculously unneeded. He just wins certain matchups. There's a lot of Sera stuff sort of floating around, and just dropping a Man Thing will often just win that matchup. Dropping a Man Thing to your opponent's nonsense lane, fundamentally alone, right, will just shut them down and you win that lane. So, like, you can win certain games of this deck by going Man Thing, Legion, Blob, and just calling it a day. That's going to be enough power to win. Cool. Man Thing or Legion can be Enchantress, and if if you're missing both of them, add Miles. If you have both Man Thing and Legion, make Shang-Chi Enchantress. Silk or Jeff can be Cloak, but you need at least one of them. And if you don't have Blob, you can try Eliath, but that's kind of it. You're probably not going to be able to really make this work otherwise. I guess you can try Leader, but like Blob is really important here. So Eva is the number 39 ranked player in the world. I don't know why I can't talk sometimes today, but Eva is the 39 ranked player in the world right now, and usually finishes in the top 10. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal player. I cannot speak highly enough of Eva's play. Brazilian player, just also really cool person. So turn 1, Nightcrawler. Turn 2, Craven is better than Jeff, who's more or less equal to Silk. Turn 3, Spidey. If not, you play one of the 2s. Turn 4, Man Thing. 2/2s or Captain Marvel. Turn 5, Legion, Shang, or the turn 4 stuff. And turn 6 is Blob, Legion, Magneto, or Shang and a 2. And again, Shang can be Enchantress, so Enchantress and a 2. I'd prefer Enchantress on turn 5 and Blob on turn 6, but it works both ways. Your Blob is usually like 15 to 20 power. I think this deck is great. It's really fun. It wasn't as OP as the other one in my experience, but it is very strong. We've got Nightcrawler hip, Jeff hip, Spidey hip, Legion hip, Blob hip, Magneto hip. A 6 hip deck. We love to see it. We've got our horror themed Man Thing. It's venomized, but it's just horrifying. So we also threw a venomized Craven and Silk in here, so we got a little venomized theme. We've got the Peach Moko Shang-Chi and the Peach Moko Captain Marvel to go with all these other cards. This is a pretty and thematic deck. Outside of, I guess, Shadow King, who's all by himself, but this is just the best Shadow King, and there's not like a good thematic Shadow King for anything. All right, Marvel Snap Pro tips for Conquest. First, snap on location information. Your opponent knows you're playing Dark Talk, Subterranean Reveals, snap immediately. Cool, unless they're a blob deck, obviously, but snap immediately. They have to assume you're going to have Dark Hawk. They should run every time. Nice and simple. They don't know. They can't see your hand. They don't know that you don't have Dark Hawk. If you snap, you should scare them off. Sometimes you're going to lose that way. But the proper decision is for you to snap, and the proper decision is for them to run. You play right. Don't worry about them playing wrong. If they play wrong long enough and you play right long enough, in the wash, you come out ahead. Same thing for Onslaught Citadel, so on. Be wary of certain locations that, like, if you know they have a location killer, if you know they have a Scarlet Witch, you can't plan on Nico, but like if you know they have a Scarlet Witch or you know they have a Storm, don't automatically snap on, say, Camartage or Onslaught Citadel, because the advantage they provide you can be taken away fairly early, unless you know you have like Korg Rockslide on Camartage, in which case you can perfectly well snap, because you'll get enough of an advantage before they can do anything. For Conquest, stay in even if you know you're going to lose without a snap. So if you are getting killed and they don't snap, please stay in the game. Make them show you cards. You can even stay in the game and not play anything, as long as it's only for 1 cube. You should be completely fine that way. You just want to gather information. Don't like drop a Shang-Chi or anything while you're doing so, by the way. Like, it's not going to win you the game. You're just letting them know to play around that the rest of the game. So you stay in games as long as you can early in Conquest. as long as there is no snap, while not showing them key tech pieces. Cool. Our last deck of the day is Combat's Miracle. I played this a bunch today. Also, really fun deck. I played it on ladder, not Conquest, so I don't have the stats. I tend to play Conquest on my computer and ladder on my phone. This is awesome. It's not especially heavy on twos, although it does have the 3 really great endgame twos. It's got Mobius to screw everything up that we talked about earlier. Killmonger makes up for the lack of early plays relatively well, especially against Thanos. I remain not the biggest Gladiator fan in the world, but we want something with big power at a 2 or 3 drop, and we already have Maximus, so Gladiator is the next big thing. We've got Shang and Enchantress, along with Ms. Marvel, because a 4/15 is great. Sera is super strong, and Dr. Doom. You don't always play Doom here, you don't even often play Doom here. But after a Sera, a Doom goes down to 5, and a Maximus or Jeff are 1, or Shadow King are 1, and that's an awful lot of power, right? If you can have a 21 turn last play because you played Sera, that often wins. You're not going to play Doom if you need to get off an Enchantress or Shang-Chi, but 2 cost Enchantress and Shang-Chi are really good if you have Sera and Zabu. So you can play Enchantress, Shang-Chi, and Ms. Marvel on the last turn. You can also play Enchantress, Shang-Chi, and Gladiator, or whatever else you wanted. It's just, if you get Sera and Zabu out, this deck is like an auto win unless they have Mobius or a way to stop you. You have too much. Please concentrate on throwing priority. Don't tempo out things like Maximus. You want to stay behind. You want to almost fill a lane. Jeff is great for that because it prevents junk ups. Really strong. Killmonger helps against the junk matchup. There's just a lot to like here. So, replacements. You must have Zabu. This only works with Zabu with the 3/4 drops. Ms. Marvel can be Super Skrull. It's a little worse, but it still works. Jeff can be Scarlet Witch. Mobius would be Cosmo or Echo if you had it. And Polaris or Coulson could be Gladiator. That is how you alter this deck as necessary. I kind of like Coulson here, by the way, just because like it gives you an extra shot at a card you need. All right. So Combat went 19-2 with this, which is wild. I went something like 4-2 with it, but Combat went 19-2. Like this feels extremely strong in the meta right now, and you should try it. It's very, very good against the sort of like BS that's around in them. So turn 1 pass because you don't have 1 drops. Turn 2, Zabu is the best play. If not Jeff, don't play anything else. I don't know why I wrote Coulson there. Turn 3, Killmonger or Mobius pending the board. Both are generally better than Gladiator, but Gladiator is fine. Turn 4, I like Gladiator last turn, just because you can try and play it on a closed location and he powers a lot. Turn 4 is Marvel. Or a couple 2s. This, like, I'd play Zabu over anything on turn 4. Turn 5, Sera. Turn 6, Doom and a 2, or Shang Enchanter, Shadow King, and whatever else you can. And then you win, because this deck is sick. Cool. Variant time. We've got Sera, Ms. Marvel, Killmonger, Mobius, Jeff, Zabu, Gladiator, 7 hips, beautiful. Then we've got the Jacinto, Shang, and Enchantress. I realize they're both Jacintos, and now they're getting run together forever. We've got this really cool Maximus and this really cool Shadow King, along with the best Doom, the Emperor Doom. Someone's going to yell at me, Gaming with Flash. Someone's going to yell at me that the current Hellfire Gala Doom is better. Nah. Ember Doom. All day. I have this one with a gold background. It's great. All right, shop. This is my shop from yesterday because we don't do shop videos when we do new card videos, and yesterday was Celine video. So this is my shop. I have all of the Winter Vacation variants except Ebony Maw and Abomination. Oh, I guess and Debris. I have an Ebony Maw, Debris, and an Abomination I like, and it's not those. I have hips. I have a hip for Debris, and I would like the hip for Abomination, so we're good. I'm not spending gold on pixels. I have like 4 Draculas. No, thank you. I should have probably bought the Jacinto Sentry. I keep getting really close to buying the Jacinto Sentry. I have the merged one, but I think I might like this one better. It's really close. This Taskmaster that you see here, I actually got from the mystery pack. The $9 mystery pack's a really good deal right now. The premium mystery variant, a bunch of gold, and then like a couple credits, 500 credits or whatever it is. So I bought that, and I got this Taskmaster. So cool. I got a Taskmaster. Why not? I ended up opening a bunch of stuff and getting a bunch of extra things. I went to open for the Spotlight Echo. Not Echo, Spotlight Celine. I decided I wanted, and it took me 7 caches. I have like 20. I had 25, but it took me 7 caches to get there. So I ended up with this Ghost Rider, which is a great Ghost Rider, but I have the Jacinto, and I like the Jacinto better. Robbie Reyes is a better character, but I like the Jacinto art better. And I got this Devil Dino, which is irrelevant to me. There's a hip that I will eventually get. I also played enough Conquest to finally get my Thor, my Hellfire Gala Thor. It's a cute Thor, but I have a frog, so I'm sticking with my frog. And I got this gorgeous Magneto. And Roy noted something that I want to bring up. It is awfully funny, or ironic, or coincidental, or weird, or pick a word, that Magneto is the card they gave everyone on Christmas. Probably the most notable Jew in all of Marvel is the one they decided. That's the one for Christmas. All right. Next day shot, much better. The uh Lee Doctor Strange is great, but whatever. I have plenty of Doctor Stranges I like. I grabbed the hip Black Bolt because it's a hip and it's Black Bolt, and now I have that. Um, I have no interest in Venomized variant, so no Deadpool. I have 2 other Vipers I like. I have a hip for High Evo. I have a hip for Destroyer. I have a hip for Zola, and I have like 3 good Storms. These are my spotlight pulls. I was pulling specifically for the Celine and Black Knight. The Celine was my first pull. The Black Knight was my 4th pull, and because the Black Knight was my 4th pull, I decided to go for the Spotlight Celine. So I have Celine, I now have Spotlight Celine, and I have Black Knight. Tomorrow we'll talk some Celine decks, I promise. Cool. That's today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I think that these decks are great. I think the second deck is really hard to pilot, but the first and third are fairly simple and super strong. If you want to get good at stealing cubes, that second deck is a high cube rate deck, not a super high win rate deck, but the first and third nail win rates. Cool. Hit that sub button. Don't forget to ring that bell. If you ring that bell, you won't miss tomorrow's video. You'll be able to comment. You'll be in the giveaway. And special thanks to our Patreons. We're at 11. It's really cool. So we got Models, Pretty Chill, Fothor Newman, the great Fothor Newman. Check him out on YouTube, y'all. Matthew Rowland, No Flex, Mandatory Burnout, Matt Conduit, Josh Apodaca, Rob Silverman, Matt H., and Robert Rivern. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you, everyone who made it this far into the video. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace.